Since it was founded in 2008, BNF Bank has evolved into a key player in the Maltese banking sector, especially in relation to small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs. BNF is renowned for having created specially designed SME programs that finance companies which are at the start-up phase of their development, all the way through to those showing signs of growth and expansion. Well, the success of these programs reflects the value that underpin BNF's approach to what it does, namely ambition, responsibility and empathy. Well, I'm delighted to welcome to the studio Michael Collis, who is Chief Executive Officer of BNF Bank. Welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, look, the journey started in Malta. It still continues in Malta. But how do you think it has managed to grow into this important position in that country? What has it done right?
Well, I think very simply the investment program's been very significant. Particularly on the part of the latest shareholder to come into the bank. 75% of the bank was sold back in October 2016 to the Al Faisal Group, which is a large Qatari group. And at that time they invested around 20 million euros. That investment's now grown to over 80 million euros. So over the last 3 years they've placed significant funds at the availability of the bank, which has been invested in the infrastructure of the bank and in growing the balance sheet of the bank. So I think that's the reason why, the main reason. Yeah.
But also as well, the banking industry is hugely unpredictable. So how has BNF embraced the changes and used them to its advantage?
Well, that's a good question. The Maltese economy has been very strong, first of all, for the last 5 years. Last 2 or 3 years, GDP growth in Malta has been around 6-7%, which is, by European standards, very, very strong indeed. So clearly that's helped all the banks in Malta to build their business models and to put volume through their balance sheet. But I think in addition to that, it's a question of adopting a long-term strategy. So to try and build out your infrastructure sensibly, to have the right branding. We went through a branding change about a year ago. I think we've got very strong brand identity in Malta. And probably the most important thing is to embed the bank within the community there. We still have, in a way, quite traditional banking in Malta. So banks are expected to be part of the community. They're expected to be involved in charitable work and artistic work as well. We have a strong branch network. The branch managers all know their local communities.
Which is quite unusual in the banking model, isn't it?
It is in many countries now, particularly maybe in the UK, but in Malta it still works. It's a relatively small and tight-knit population where, to some extent, everybody knows everybody. So that feature, which has disappeared, as you rightly say, in many countries, still exists in Malta. Yes.
And let's stay with that idea as well, because in my introduction I referred to the key pivots, if you like, that really shape what you do: ambition, responsibility and empathy, all part of the value system. So really, how are you able to maintain that? Because it's all very well and good talking about it, but times change, customers change, and often technology can shape the way that you do things. So how can you hold all of those ideas together and stay unique?
Well, first of all, to have the right product range. Customers come to us because they want to buy our products. It's as simple as that. And what we've tried to do is to develop a top-class range of products to take people from when they're students right the way through to when they retire, and to fulfil their financial needs during that period. Whether they're starting a small business, which is what we're talking about mainly today, or whether they're employees and they want to buy a house, or whatever they want to do, we have a product to suit them. So I think that's the first thing. Technology, as you say, is very important. That hasn't escaped Malta, albeit Malta's a bit more traditional than most. We're spending a lot of money on technology at the moment. We're putting in a new core system in the bank, which will enable us to offer much more cutting-edge online banking facilities and app-based technology, contactless technology, all those kind of things. So So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to keep us current as well as an institution.
I mean, when you break it down to brass tacks, would you say that you're there to look out for the little guy, perhaps because he or indeed she doesn't feel that they can have that link with the big guys, the regular names on the high street? So you're the first port of call because they know what they're going to get, that you're basically on their side?
Well, there are 6 core banks in Malta, 2 of which are much bigger than the rest. We're not one of those 2. So Bank of Valletta and HSBC together have 80% of the market in Malta. So by their very nature, they're very large institutions and perhaps less personal than we are. Where can we gain market share? Where can we make ourselves more relevant? The answer is to be more personal, to have better personal contact with our clients. So that's where we focus our effort, and to have better products as well, which we believe we have. So.
But certainly the demographics of Malta work in your favour in that sense.
Well, the demographic is actually quite evenly distributed. There is quite a large young population coming through as well now. A lot more non-Maltese people now working in Malta because the economy has been so strong over the last few years. There's full employment in Malta, so a lot of expatriates, of which I'm one, are working in Malta. So the answer there is to design products for them as well as for the local community.
But all of these factors, is it pointing towards more entrepreneurialism?
For the population, yes, definitely. I think young people seem to want, and it's true in this country as well, I think they seem to want to be in charge of their own destiny far more. So there is this sense that they want to start their own business, to do the things they love, and we try and encourage that and develop products to help them.
Well, you're doing something right, because you've been recognised for that. You've been awarded Best SME Partner Bank in Malta, so congratulations. So why do you think this award is important, and how does it really reflect the ethos of what the company is all about and what it's doing?
Well, it's very important for us. It's very important for our staff to be recognised for all the hard work they put into the bank. We've got 210 very loyal and hard-working people working on this, not just myself. And it's important that the bank's recognised for the efforts it's made, I think, in the community to try and build a suite of products that will help people start businesses, which is really what we're there to do in the SME space, and to nurture those businesses and to help them as hopefully they develop into larger businesses in the future.
Okay, let's jump ahead now to 2024. Let's assume that you're still in charge and I'm still doing this.
I'll be very old by then, but okay.
not that old, not that old. We'll age gracefully together. But let's imagine that we've leapt into the future and you and I are talking about BNF Bank. What sort of a bank will we be discussing?
Larger but still personal is the answer. Bigger market share. The BNF was the first investment in financial services by the Al Faisal Group. The Al Faisal Group is much better known for its other holdings that it has. It's very large in hospitality. For example, it owns 30 five-star hotels worldwide, has a massive healthcare business, global healthcare business. Financial services was a new venture for them. But when they go into something and it works, they expand it. So I think you'll see more resources being made available to the bank now, growing market share in Malta, perhaps becoming a more international bank as well. We've got very big plans for the future, but we want to retain that personal touch. It's very important for us.
Still looking out for the little guy.
We hope.
Mike Collis, congratulations on winning the award.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us in the studio, and good luck with your journey to the future.
It's a pleasure, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.